Hello students, I'm here to do a module on human relations approach, which is also called human relations theory, as part of the course on Introduction to Public Administration. I am Professor Srinivas Reddy. I'm retired from Kakati University as Professor of Public Administration. Human relations theory is also known as neoclassical theory. Just to get a fleeting glimpse of a perspective of this particular approach or theory, let's have some understanding of the various theories of public administration. The first theory of public administration is known as the classical theory, and the second theory is known as neoclassical theory. And the third major theory of public administration is known as behavioral theory. This human relations theory is called by William G. Scott as neoclassical theory. This is for the reason that this particular theory is a kind of link between the classical theory and the behavioral theory. This is not totally different from classical theory, nor totally one with the behavioral theory. Hence, it's called a bridge. Of course, the word behavioralism was not popular when Elton Mayo was making his contributions to human relations theory. Later, this word behavioralism got christened, and therefore one of the critics pointed out that Elton Mayo was a behavioralist much before the term behavioralism became popular. We have to know a little background of George Elton Mayo, who is the preceptor of this school or the theory or approach. Students, you should know that these three words are used interchangeably. Whether it is called a school, theory or approach, they are one and the same. The human relations theory is the result of the contributions of George Elton Mayo and a few others. Hugo Munsterberg was one who made some contributions to this. Friedrich Roethlisberger and Dickson also made contributions to this theory along with George Elton Mayo as part of the experiments known as Hawthorne experiments. The human relations theory is in fact a reaction to the classical theory. The classical theory held that the structure is primary for an organization. If somebody wants to offer a good administration or efficient administration, he has to develop a well-structured organization. To have a well-structured organization, there shall be some principles. If you follow the principles and structure the organization will offer twin advantages, the efficiency and economy. And efficiency and economy is there, the organization will be working successfully. This, in summary, is the classical theory. This classical theory had an economic notion of man. I think some of you would have heard that there are various social science subjects who would tag the man with that particular subject and portray his nature. Economists would say that man is an economic man. Sociologists would say that man is a social man. Psychologists would say that man is a bundle of wants. So on it goes. And taking a cue from economists, the classical theory assumed that an industrial worker or an employee in an organization basically works to fulfill his economic needs. And once these needs are fulfilled, he will not bother about other things. So this is essentially the concept of economic man, which was disputed by George Elton Mayo on the basis of experiments he has conducted. And George Elton Mayo posits or offers an alternative view of human being, and he says that man is basically social man. He lives and works in organization for social gratification, for a comfortable social life and all that. So he highlights the social notion of man. But he would not totally dispute or totally condemn the earlier notion that man is economic. So therefore, human relations theory says that man is part economic and part social. So therefore, the human nature is more complex than what the earlier thinkers have assumed. Elton Mayo is influenced by two famous thinkers, psychologists, Geary Panet and Sigmund Freud. And he was one with a very wide background. He studied logic, he studied philosophy, he studied medicine, and he worked as a professor in philosophy. But with this background, he joined Harvard Business School as professor of psychology. And he was called to help the Western Electric Company, the Hawthorne plant of Western Electric Company, to fix a problem. The problem there was the high turnover of employees. For the benefit of students, let me mention that turnover means how many people leave the job before the end of the year. If large number of people are leaving, this is called high turnover. If the number of people leaving the organization at the end of year is very minimal, it is low turnover. High turnover, particularly in the Western industrial context, is considered to be a negative, because the organization would not have experienced people to work with it, because all the time people are changing. So this was the problem, and it was supposed to be fixed. And when the company could not do by itself, it invited outside experts. And the first invitation went to the Social Research Council, and these people have done some research from 1924 to 27. And this research could not result in much headway, and therefore Elton Mayo was called from Harvard Business School, and he stepped in and conducted further experiments from 1927 to 1932. The Hawthorne experiments are so called because of the reason that these experiments were conducted in the Hawthorne plant of the Western Electric Company in Chicago, United States of America. And these experiments were some of the biggest experiments in the history of industrial psychology or industrial sociology. And in fact, they were path-breaking, and these experiments have resulted in a new theory of management, new theory of organization, which has been borrowed into public administration. It has to be mentioned that this theory did not develop in the context of public organizations. It was developed in the context of private organizations, but public administration borrowed this as one of its own theories, and it started applying this to the understanding of public phenomena or the government phenomena.